Hello, and welcome to the Astro Energy Astrology Show podcast with astrologer Shelley Overton. Hello, and hi. And welcome to the July 22nd edition of the Astro Energy Astrology Show 2020. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and this is my son Clint when he was a kid. So I'm here today to talk to you about astrology. We're doing it kind of a little bit by the seat of our pants here in the bedroom. But there you go. This is this week. Isn't it exciting? So, we just got over a new moon in Cancer, 28 degrees, and that means that the sun and the moon were at the same degree in the sky. And we are now moving on to the week. We've got, I think the next major event is going to be Uranus retrograding, but that doesn't do it till about mid-August. That's like the phenomenal next change. I just dropped my glasses somewhere. And of course, now I've got to seek out where those are at. I apologize to everyone watching. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to grab another one out of my purse, which is handy. Okay, there we go. Different set. Oh, okay. Here we go. So this week we have the moon in Leo. And Moon in Leo is one of my favorites. I actually like Moon in Aquarius and Moon in Leo because Leo is the creative, friendly, childlike energy that is stimulated by the moon, and it really connects us to family. It really helps us to understand children and childlike play. It is also where we are leaders in the zodiac, where we strengthen our sense of connection to other people. So if you think about the zodiac, one side is Leo, the other side is Aquarius. Leo wants to connect one-on-one because he's in the lower half of the zodiac, and Aquarius connects to the masses, being on the upper half of the zodiac. They are opposites, and so there are mirror energies at play between the two. And that means that, like I said, the Leo energy is on the bottom half of the zodiac, which is the eye. And so we are looking to connect one-on-one and really feel like we're part of a group, a coupling of something more private, more connected one-on-one. And we have validation one-on-one. And then the other side, Aquarius, is really detaching from that need and trying to get us into a broader sense of the collective. And I know I should have all this set up before, but I'm going to pump up my setup here because I think you're too low. And I don't want you to feel so low. Hey, you get to see me close up. There we go. Let's put a hat box. Now we're one-on-one. Yay. Okay. That's much better. I feel much better now. How about you? Okay, so let me grab my chart here. This is what you got to do sometimes. My world is really being rocked right now by the Capricorn stellium. And that means that, it rules home and family, and it rules career. And I definitely am feeling that connection. This week, so my daughter and I were sharing a room, and she wanted her own room, so she moved out of this room. And now I have a lot of artwork in this bedroom. I should turn this around and show you just how much artwork I have. I don't know if you can see it. This is stacked up to the wall. So I'm now sharing the room with all my artwork. And that's cool. I'm going to be putting it up on the internet. And that's also what Leo rules. Leo rules artwork and being an artist. He rules actors and drama. And actually, I find a really strong connection between Leo and graphic designers. So if you are a Leo or have Leo planets, there is a lot of energy around graphic design. And that's because Leo is very artistic, but also interested in promotion and promotion of ideas that he has and things that will continue to move him forward. I wrote this down before the podcast, that fire signs are the actors of the zodiac. And that means that they act out, they act upon, they act in a forward motion. But of course, that's Aries. He is an initiating energy. And Leo, the next fire sign, is an actor in the true sense of the word. He acts and creates, and he produces drama, and he produces the things that make our world more interesting and fleshed out. And then Sagittarius acts in a sense of a spiritual motivation forward, and he has to keep on the go. So they are all actors. Earth signs are producers. They produce something. They need to produce. I'm a Virgo, and I never realized it until this year that really there is a strong drive in me to create and produce. And it's kind of associated with the Virgo energy of the workplace environment. So we are workers, and I've realized that I need to continually work and produce and make something, because it makes me feel validated. It makes me feel valued. And Capricorn for sure is, which is where the planets are today, the heavy hitting stellium of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. Capricorn wants to produce in a sense of creating the system, but also I'm realizing there's a certain savior complex that's associated with earth signs, that they want to make things right for the world and save people from making bad mistakes or making something that is a mistake. So Capricorn definitely, we'll be talking more about this in a little bit, but right there with the saviors, especially Virgo and Capricorn, I think, are the two biggest savers of the zodiac, or saviors. They want to save people. And then Taurus flies a little more under the radar. Taurus is fairly content playing behind the scenes and doing the work behind the scenes. And he is a producer, but he produces growth. He produces, plant life and agriculture and sustenance and value of the marketplace. Money is the expression of some of what he produces. So that's earth sign. Water is the feelers. I think we all know water signs are the feelers of the zodiac. And so water signs get immersed. They are the ones who feel on a deeper level, and I don't know. So anyway, I'm just, for those of you who cannot see me, I am messing with my hair because I just did it. And of course it's annoying. If you don't see me and you're listening to the podcast and would like to see me, you can find it at the, it doesn't unfortunately right now have a name, but if you typed in either Angelic Zodiac or Shelley Overton, right now my YouTube channel just has a long string of numbers, but you will find me through typing in Angelic Zodiac or Shelley Overton or Artful Shelley. Air signs are the thinkers of the zodiac, with also Virgo being part of that, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which rules thought and communication. So the air signs of the zodiac are the ones that are analyzing everything. They want to know what's the reasoning behind everything, and they're constantly having stuff come in their minds and have difficult time shutting it off. So the first air sign is Gemini. Geminis are always thinking, very thoughtful, want to communicate what's coming in, and it needs to happen that way. I've got this fan on. Maybe I'll just turn that off. That'll be better. So thank you for being patient with me here. Yeah, so Gemini is always, wanting to get more information, using technology for furthering their knowledge. Google was a Gemini send for all of us, Gemini and Aquarius, of course. But the next sign is Libra, and Libra being an air sign, it thinks about partnership and diplomacy and where things weren't as fair and balanced. And that's what Libra rules. So Libra is more about thinking about how we connect to other people. It is kind of a continuation of the Leo energy, but in this case, instead of just wanting to connect and put yourself in a couples or romantic situation with someone, Libra is willing to be in an actual committed relationship. And that's the central part of it, as opposed to maybe play and romance and fun, which is more Leo. Libra definitely wants the idea of love, the lasting idea of love, or even honestly with Uranus in Libra in the 70s, more of a playful idea, more of multiplicity of love and polygamy or polyamorous relationships are definitely embraced by the generation who was born in the 70s. And then Aquarius is the sign of, or the last sign of the air energy. And Aquarius is very much connected to ideas that go way beyond Earth. It goes to the atmosphere, it goes to space and science and wonder. And so we have that wonderful wonderment of Aquarius coming in as we see the planets move closer and closer to Aquarius. So I want to make sure you all knew that. And I think another thing that came in today, which I mentioned probably a few times before, but I keep thinking about it because when Pluto came into Capricorn, we saw the movie Frozen come out. And Frozen, it just definitely, I've got chills about this. Frozen, the movie, was so much more, and I found my glasses. See, this is, and I haven't had coffee. You would think with all this nervous energy, I've had coffee. I haven't had coffee. It's Virgo. So yeah, when Pluto came into Capricorn, the movie Frozen came out. And so many of the ideas behind Frozen of, Capricorn is the opposite to Cancer. We had the axis in the last year and a half of the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn. That relates to family. That was a theme. Let It Go, absolutely the number one theme of that movie, and the number one theme of Pluto moving through Capricorn, wanting to let it go. I think a lot about this because, as you see, I have a lot of art and, whoa, sorry about that. And I want to sell it, absolutely need to sell it because it's just taking up space in boxes and no one sees it. And it's beautiful and spiritually uplifting. So just an aside, I know I'm very tangential today, so thank you for bearing with me and having patience. But I'm feeling that, well, definitely Capricorn is a decluttering energy to begin with. But as we move closer to Aquarius, Aquarius is a very clear, pure energy. It's not wanting to be bogged down. It wants to go higher vibrationally. And so the earth plane, the material world, is excessive to Aquarian thinking. It's too much. Whereas Capricorn energy really tries to build something solid and tangible, and honestly could lead to hoarding depending on some of the planets in your chart. I have Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, in Pisces, which is very sentimental about things and emotionally attached to the material things. So that energy can collect. And I think some of the biggest collectors of the zodiac are Pisces. Given the fact that I do have Saturn in Pisces, yes, I'm a collector. I collect cameras, I collect stamps, and not a lot of them, just the good ones, Disney and love stamps, things like that. But, we collect. We have sentimental attachment, and we collect things that are of the past or vintage, or we know will, for me, carry more value in the future. And so, with these energies right now, with Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all in Capricorn at late degrees, we are trying to understand what we need to let go of in our lives and what systems are no longer serving us, what dogma. And the dogma is really just pure belief. It's like, does that serve me anymore? Right now we have Mars in Aries, and Mars in Aries is an initiating fire energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It wants us to move forward. Um, it squares Capricorn and it squares Cancer, and it opposes Libra. So we have this four-way cross going on in the sky around us that when we have planets in Libra, we are triggered by Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries. And it can be good or bad depending on where they fall in your chart, what planets are there in those positions. But this is the case. They are changing planets. They are changing energy that will make our world move in a very strong sense. So when we saw Pluto come in, Pluto moved out of Sagittarius, what I attach to renovation of houses, buying of houses and real estate. You wouldn't think so. I didn't think so for many years. And then I realized there really is a strong connection between Sagittarius and the housing industry, and also, of course, travel. And so we have this really strong shift going on when Pluto went out of Sagittarius, and now he's going into Aquarius. And he's going to Saturn. We're talking Saturn, actually. I was talking Pluto, but now I'm talking Saturn. So I'm sorry if I didn't have you keep up. Yeah, so we've got this energy coming in that we've already experienced a little bit of, the Aquarian energy, where it's about community. It's about thoughtfulness of others. We don't have the choice, honestly, because Aquarius wants us to connect to the global. It wants us to connect to community and understand what other people are going through. It wants us to connect to environment. So this is the sign of environmentalists. It is also the sign of the collective, which extrapolates out to the collective galaxy, the collective universe, everything within that, not just us, but others in the world and others out in space. And I touched on it a little bit last week with Mary Ellen about UFOs and things like that. She really has a strong interest in that. I mean, I definitely, we're only born within 2 weeks of each other. Her birthday is the end of September, same year. So she and I both have Uranus and Pluto conjunct in our charts in Virgo. And so that right there is a major shift around the idea of connectedness of all things and all beings. So it expresses in her chart much more towards UFOs and the interest in that, while I have more of an interest in space, and it focused more on astrology and how the planets affect us in the material way, because I have more Virgo in my chart. She has Libra. It connects more down to Earth for me. And her Venus and Mars, while mine are Cancer and Leo, hers are both in Leo. So it gives her a more playful look at things and a creative way of looking at the energies. So I'm just trying to bring this in for you because I'm very aware that I don't have any callers to really look at their charts. And so I'm hoping that if I talk to you about other people and other situations, it may make up for a little bit of that for the time being. I do readings one-on-one. I really love to do that, as you know, if you've listened for any length of time. And you can get me at Angelic Zodiac. That's where you can connect to me. I am in the process of really renovating that particular website. And it's probably an ongoing process because I'm going to migrate it over to another web address, but still it will have its own web address, but it's going to be underneath another umbrella. So lots to do, lots of creative things to do. Redoing websites, it's an Aquarian thing. I have that connection in my chart. I love redoing and moving and keeping active. So if you're an Aquarian, like I have an influence in my chart, yeah, you're probably always thinking of things and moving from here to there and really chasing the ideas. And I definitely do that, which is also honestly why I'm good at astrology, is because I am open to the energies as they come through the universe more and more. I'm open, and that's part of Aquarius, is channeled energy. You get like your mind becomes a radio tower for information. So the children that came in on Uranus in Aquarius are very strongly lit up like a radio tower for information, and you cannot pull anything over on them. So they are the ones in the zodiac. Like I personally, with my Scorpio rising and Neptune, Moon in Scorpio in the first house, I'm very aware of the Scorpio energy and how it is mysterious and hidden. But I'm also very much a proponent of the information coming out and people understanding things. And maybe that's why in my chart, Pluto and Uranus are together, really propelling me in my life for truth and to bring out the hidden into the light. So when Pluto, the planet of hidden and mystery, comes into Aquarius, oh boy, look out. I'm telling you, 2024, even probably 2023, in the next few years, we are going to have this purging of what has been hidden. And being, like I said, I have this strong connection to the energy of Pluto and Uranus. I already know some of it intuitively. It's just a clear cognizant thing, which is just a clear knowing. So it's already kind of in there. There are a lot of things that I know that I don't necessarily bring out because it's definitely a matter of them catching up. So if you have strong Uranus or Aquarius in your chart, you probably are very aware of these things as well. That being said, I need some air blowing on me. Live. I love it. Live here. This is part of why I put off being on YouTube for so long. Self-consciousness of Virgo. Okay, anyway, so we have Neptune retrograde. Neptune is in positive aspect to Capricorn. So what Neptune retrograde is doing for us is having us go back over the past. Another Piscean thing is vintagey, past energy, telling the story of the past, genealogy. And so that can be really increasing the energy of the systems and helping us to renovate what is no longer serving us in our dream, which is what Pisces rules. Okay. We've got Mars at 13, and I actually really want to, I'm sorry, here, let me get that off of my screen. I really want you to understand I'm not going planet by planet like I usually do, and I just want to be a little bit more rhetorical, a little bit more random in what I do today. It's just the way I'm feeling. So yeah, if anybody's listened to my podcast long enough, I've been on for 11 years now. You know, there's a certain consistency, but then I have those days where I'm a little eccentric, and today's one of those days, I suppose. So Wednesday, the sun enters Leo. Well, that falls right on my Venus. So at my midheaven. And if you don't know a chart, I'll show you. This is just today's chart. It's not my chart, but when you have a Scorpio rising, so here's Scorpio. It actually for you would fall this way. Scorpio on the horizon, okay? That puts Leo, oh, wait a minute. I have it upside down. This is going to only confuse you. So in a circle with Scorpio on the horizon, Leo falls at the midheaven. That's probably a little easier to understand. And so that means that the sun's up in the middle of my sky for my chart. Okay, today the sun entered Leo at 4:37 a.m. So we are now all in the territory of the Leos, and that means attention going to Leo energy. Right off the top of my head, definitely happy birthday to all my Leo friends and family. I've got my father is a Leo, my son is a Leo, and I have a friend who's a Leo. So we've got a lot of, oh, and my brother-in-law is a Leo too. I attract that to my life, which I'm really happy about. Leo is a wonderful energy, very playful. I don't tend to attract the ones that are more arrogant or boastful. I get really wonderful, generous Leo people in my life. So I'm very happy about that. That's probably because of my Venus. So hopefully if you have any planets in Leo, you also attract the wonderful, generous, playful, friendly Leos. If not, then approach them with your Aquarius, which is, you know, a little bit of detachment. Always, any of the signs, if you have difficulty with them, you balance them through the opposite sign. So, pardon me, my nose itches. I guess I have some spirits around. Yeah, if you are struggling with any of the signs, definitely bring forth the energy of the opposite sign, and that will help. Okay. Yeah, sun in Leo today, and then there's an inconjunct of the moon in Leo, because of course they were both conjunct at the end degrees of Cancer. Now they're both in Leo. The moon entered Leo at Monday 4:16, which means he also enters Virgo this evening at 7:40 p.m. So I'm going to get that one as well. It's going to hit 4 of my planets after that. Yay. Okay, so Mercury is sextile to Uranus today. Mercury is in the sign of Cancer, which means he's in 60-degree separation from Uranus in the sky. And that means we are going to be really lit up with understanding information coming in on an intuitive level. And it's intuitive in a sense of channeled energy. So it isn't necessarily like you're going to be feeling it down here in your body. You're going to be thinking it. It's going into your head. And so you're going to have really ramped up thoughts, which is probably also why I am definitely a little bit scattered today. Anyway, I keep getting little flashes up here on this laptop of different messages that are distracting. So I apologize to those of you who are watching me look to the corner of the screen. That's why. Yeah, and then the moon is in conjunct to Saturn, which means he's about 150 degrees away from Saturn. And, you know, the moon moves so fast. Yes, he's significant. He is a significator, which means when the moon transits different relationships to your planets in your chart, he can trigger off a response, an emotional response, or an event that culminates in something happening significant. So having the moon in conjunct to Saturn is probably one of those events. Now, you know, I put this in context of people around me. I'm always analyzing in the vernacular of astrology. So moon in Leo is, let me double check. Yeah, Mercury is in Cancer, moon's in Leo. So moon in Leo is going to mean that we want the security of home, but we want to seek it out through creative energy, through connections to our children, or a romantic connection or friend connection. So that's what we seek out when the moon is in Leo. We seek out to be creative, to be dramatic, to be the center of attention. Hair. I have a Venus in Leo at midheaven. I'm sorry, but you know, hair's my thing. So, yeah, I really wanted blue streaks today, but I didn't do it. I can do it next time. Maybe. I'm not going to guarantee it. So, yeah, and then Virgo moon means that oh, I'm sorry, did I finish that? Moon in Leo is connectedness through all of the things I said, through leadership and creativity, but then he is at odds with Saturn in Capricorn. And that means, of course, Saturn in Capricorn is going back to the past, retrograding, and he wants things to be more reliable. He wants us to be more structured and honestly have the security and safety of the past and tradition. But Leo's being very playful. He is flamboyant. He is gregarious and outgoing, and he wants all the attention, where Saturn is very reliable and does a lot of things behind the scenes. And when I refer to the planets or the signs in this manner, it means that you have people coming into your life, or you yourself are expressing this energy. So even though it is kind of anthropomorphized, however you pronounce it, pomorphized, probably shouldn't use the word unless I know, right? Anthropomorphic. So it means that we're projecting all of the human qualities onto something that's either inanimate or, you know, maybe an animal. So we're saying that it has human attributes. So when I talk about the planets this way, I'm just saying that they're influencing us in the way they represent the symbology of those attributes. So, you know, right now, when we have this flamboyant energy from the moon, Saturn doesn't particularly like flamboyance. Saturn wants us to be rather homogenous. I live in a neighborhood that has many beige houses, beige and tan, and that's kind of a expression of this Pluto and Capricorn era. We are moving into Aquarius. I do feel that in the process of the Aquarian age, we will be much more expressive with house colors and car colors and hair colors. And it is the rainbow age. It is the era and archetype of the gay community. the rainbow flag is very much associated with Aquarius and alternative lifestyles, alternative ways of looking at things. And so we are coming into this vibrant, bright, colored decade and generation. And honestly, it's going to go probably a decade and a half. So we are really going to integrate the idea of multiplicity, multiple colors, multiple ways of looking at things. That's why when I talk about Capricorn and the move into Aquarius, if you are steadfastly, dogmatically anchored in tradition and old beliefs and refuse to move beyond them, you are going to have a very difficult time in the upcoming Aquarian energy. It is not at all reliable. It is about ideas and how things are unique while still part of the group. It is honestly a progressive energy. We progress through the zodiac, and the zodiac ends at Pisces and starts again in Aries. So until Pluto gets to Aries, probably it's going to be around 2060, 2050 to 2060, I'm guessing. I'm just guesstimating. I know it's close to when I'm 100. I'm going to live my latter years with Pluto in Pisces, which is about 30 years away. So probably 40 years from now, 40 or 50 years. Sorry, I keep knocking the table with the computer. I apologize. So yeah, we are heading out to this energy of uniqueness, unique qualities, entrepreneurship, inventiveness, expansive mindsets. And we are looking to bring color and a new way of seeing the world. I just was telling my dad this last week, I found out that the map of the globe was not drawn to scale. And that goes back way into the 1500s, I believe, when they were exploring. And the Pope at the time, who was, of course, one of the most significant figureheads in the Catholic or Christian world, and because of that power at the time, the Pope commissioned a map of the world that basically emphasized the power of the expanding communities, which are, Spain and England and Rome and all the kind of the European countries. And they made the sizes of different places on the map bigger than others. And the majority of the emphasis was on the northern continents and the white world. It's called the Mercator, Mercator. I believe that's how you spell it. Mercator map. Look it up, because it significantly skews the shape of the white part of the world larger than the southern hemisphere, and where more of the people of color live. So I mentioned that to my father. He didn't believe me at first, but he looked it up and he found out it was true. So we are ending that kind of ignorance, for lack of a better word. We ignore what is, and it's starting to come out. These things are arising into our consciousness. And so we are coming into this new world, a new way of seeing things, that we are literally having the veil lifted. It is a new era. It's a new vibration. I don't know if you feel it, but there are definitely energies at play right now until the planets in Capricorn start moving direct again, which starts in, Jupiter goes direct in September. Saturn, I believe, is the 28th of September, and Pluto turns direct. Well, let's just look that one up, because I don't exactly know. Pluto turns direct the beginning of October, October 3rd. So we've got just a couple months left of this retrograde energy, and honestly, the cluster of planets that are in Capricorn are very much potent planets. They are creating this significant shift and change in our world. Before I end this podcast, I want to really quickly look over the rest of the week, because sometimes I don't go completely through all the days and then I miss something, and I want to make sure I get it. So Monday of next week is a moon in Scorpio, and it enters Sagittarius early in the morning Wednesday of next week. So, and that's interesting because that's the Leo month, and there's going to be more travel, and it's going to be really hard. Whenever the moon's in Sagittarius, we want to go somewhere, we want to get out, and we're in a really strong time of this virus, making it more and more difficult to get out and about. But we are coming up on another full moon next month in Aquarius on the 3rd, so we'll see how that plays out. I'll talk about that later. I don't have anything that's really potent other than the new moon early this week, which definitely is a culmination of a story around Cancer and Capricorn. I don't know if you did the prescribed ritual that everyone's talking about. Do a full moon or new moon ritual, depending on what it is. But there is still the energy at play, and honestly, we have so many hits to different degrees within the Capricorn realm. 15 degrees Capricorn was significant when Uranus squared Pluto at 15 Capricorn, and then 22, and now we're going to end degrees. So the end degrees between 20 and 29 are significant because we are wrapping up the story, and we are also starting to feel the oncoming energy influencing us as we move closer and closer to the end degrees. With the planets retrograde at those end degrees of Capricorn, we are going back and checking out where we've been. What did we do? Where have we decided that this isn't something that can work for us? Is it in home? Is it in education? There's probably going to be a major disagreement in education now that this virus has been very politicized. When people say that their rights are being taken away because they're being asked to do something considerate of their fellow man, that's a problem. And that's going to be a huge break in the way we deal with this particular event in our collective. So as we move forward, that kind of extrapolates out into other realms, including education. And Jupiter rules education. So Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn, when he turns direct, he is going to have a say about what's going on in the educational realm. And he goes into Sagittarius in December. So if we do have, and I think we will be split about who goes back to school and who does not, by December, I think that it's going to be a no choice, that we're going to be closed down again educationally. Uranus will be back in Saturn will be back in Aquarius. And Jupiter also joins Saturn in Aquarius, which is online learning. Saturn is about taking ownership of the energies around the collective. And Jupiter wants its freedom, but now it's joining up immediately after going into Aquarius with Saturn, saying, no, this is the truth of the matter. The information has come out. The science of it is very clear. We may know more about what makes this virus tick and how it changes or how it integrates in our bodies, whether we're young or old. It seems to be different. So we will be seeing a lot of that information coming out. Jupiter, because it rules education, and Aquarius rules science, we are probably going to find out much more in December and into January, when the two planets basically go in tandem into Aquarius. So it'll be interesting, but because Saturn is in Aquarius, it means there is a restriction around freedom. There is a new structuring of technology, which Aquarius rules. And there is also a connection to travel, airlines. I don't know how Disney honestly is going to stay open all the way till December, but I pretty much see there being a very strong change of that direction in December. Jupiter tends to be the ruler of Disney because Disney himself was Sagittarius, and the company has a strong Sagittarius and I think Leo energy, if I'm not mistaken. And so there will be a lot of connections between Jupiter and Disney at the end of the year, and then Saturn. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, being someone who lives in Orlando. But anyway, that's this week's podcast. And I want to thank you very much for coming and spending time with me and my son and wish him a happy birthday. You don't have to, you don't know who he is or where he is. But anyway, he turns 22. So he's feeling 22 this year. I couldn't resist, Taylor Swift. Okay. Yeah, and if you're interested in finding out about a reading, go to angeliczodiac.com, and my artwork is at shelleyoverton.com, and that site's also gradually shifting to more of my artwork included and my just a lot of different things that I'm involved in creatively. So if you're interested in looking at that, check that out. And there's always Dotted Sky. Also, I have dottedsky.com, which is a blog that I did. And I do post there periodically, about 4 times a year probably. But it's a fun little site. I love it. It's actually my favorite site. So anyway, I think that's it. I can't think of anything else to tell you right now. Let me just look at the planets real quick. Venus is in Gemini. She is definitely inciting us to be chatty and social. And yeah, anyway, I better get going before they cut me off. Anyway, take care. You have a great week, and we'll see you here next week. Bye.
You have been listening to the Astro Energy Astrology Show. If you would like to get a private reading with Shelley, please contact her through angeliczodiac.com or at so@angeliczodiac.com. You can arrange a reading through the Angelic Zodiac page at facebook.com as well. Check out Angelic Zodiac on Instagram for up-to-date information on events, discounts, blogs and planetary transits at Angelic Zodiac 1 on Instagram. If you would like to see Shelley's art, shelleyoverton.com, or for astrology art, go to astroart.net. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Other music will be credited within the show. Advice given in the program is intended for entertainment purposes only. Join us here next week for more of the Astro Energy Astrology Show podcast. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play, and where podcasts are accessed.